It's all well and good to talk about making the environment safer, but people want to know how much it's going to cost and what is it going to do to me, and that's a legitimate question because we're always trading off things, and that includes quality of environment and economic life. So where are the win-wins? How can we do well by doing good? Well, I've called it the 7-Eleven solution. Well, where'd that come from? The average mortgage rate, something like 6-7%. And that means that the payback time is 10 or 11 years at 7%. So if you made an investment at 7% or better, it takes about 10, 11 years to get paid back. So the object is, if you have to put in a window that costs a little bit more, but the electricity or the other forms of energy that you save through having lowered the air conditioner and lowered the heater pays you back in less than 11 years, you're actually better off than you were before. That is, your monthly payment, including the mortgage and the heating bill and the electric bill, is actually lower even though you had a little bit of upfront costs. So it's economically rational to spend a little more money up front in order to have the operating costs reduced sufficiently that you get a better return than your mortgage. And that's what people notice is their monthly payment. So if their overall monthly expense goes down and they've reduced air pollution that sends kids to the hospital with asthma and they've reduced global warming, it's a real win-win. So that's what we've done in California, is use the criteria like 7-Eleven. And when you have some new invention that's available in the stores and people remodeling their house, they simply must use it. It's required by law. And it's done because it's not punishing anybody and it's protecting the society. So I've said, let's use the 7-Eleven standard so that the average person is at least as well off as they were before economically, and at the same time, we've made the society safer from the point of view of air pollution and climate change. Well, it's important to say that this rule needs to be on new buildings because most of the cost in building is not really materials, it's labor. So if you're starting from scratch, you've got the labor cost anyway. So the extra increment of expense in buying efficient air conditioners, efficient refrigerators, and insulation is not that large, and it's going to pay back at better than a 7% return in less than an 11-year time frame. You're doing better than mortgage interest rate. But what about a house that's already built, that's got bad windows and lousy insulation? Well, for you to knock the windows out and put them in, the labor costs would probably be so high you may never get a payback. So how do you avoid keeping those houses in such a mess for a long time? Everybody remodels eventually. So the way you do it, and the way we do it in California, is we do not require people to go in and knock out their inefficient windows. It's too expensive. But when they do, because they're going to remodel, they're going to move the wall, they don't like the kind of window, they're going to make a change in their design, then the new equipment has to be up to the code, which has the performance standard, because now they're already paying the labor costs to change it, so that's sunken, and what we're doing is adding an incremental cost for slightly more efficient, much better windows, walls, lights, and so forth. And that, again, when it beats the 7-Eleven standard, should be required by law, because otherwise builders won't do it if they don't have to.